were butchered. Prime Minister Modi's big message to Pakistan on Operation Sindoor, that we will not stop. Two Israeli embassy staffers shot dead in Washington. World leaders condemn the depraved act of anti-Semitic terror. We decode how this will impact the war in Gaza and the overall attitude towards Benjamin Netanyahu. India-US bilateral trade deal gains some momentum as government sources say that the trade deal, at least the first phase of it, could be signed as early as 8th of July when the 90-day reprieve comes to an end. First Zelensky, now Ramaphosa, second Oval Office face-off. Donald Trump slams the South African president on white genocide as he shows photos and videos. And an NDTV World exclusive with Banu Mushtaq, the International Booker Prize winner, on a historic triumph and her message for women across the world. Viewers, it's been a month since the Pahalgam terror attack took place. It shook the nation's conscience. 26 people were butchered. Prime Minister Modi sent out a loud and clear message. He said that India will not bow down to terror, and those who shelter will pay a price. Meanwhile, a month on, the National Investigating Agency, or the NIA, continues to look for the terrorists who killed those 26 civilians on the 22nd of April in Jammu Kashmir's Pahalgam. With no headway so far in finding those terrorists, the agency, which took over the probe from Jammu Kashmir police days after the attack, is now questioning witnesses, examining data using technical surveillance, and is now probing the next step forward. But the larger issue when it comes to terror, India's position on terror, India's focus on ensuring that the perpetrators are brought to justice, and more importantly, a very strong message to all those who are supporting terror, including Turkey, is that India will not bow down. Listen in to Prime Minister Modi in Bikaner with that loud and clear message.
तीनों सेनाओं ने मिलकर ऐसा चक्रव्यूह रचा कि पाकिस्तान को घुटने टेकने के लिए मजबूर कर दिया। 22 तारीख के हमले के जवाब में हमने 22 मिनट में आतंकियों के 9 सबसे बड़े ठिकाने तबाह कर दिए। दुनिया ने और देश के दुश्मनों ने भी देख लिया कि जब सिंदूर बारूद बन जाता है तो नतीजा क्या होता है।
सिंदूर वो बारूद है जिसने पाकिस्तान के नाको चले चबवा दिए, और इसीलिए this is the reason why India is not going to stop when it comes to acting against Pakistan. There's been a spy network that India has in India that it has completely busted off Pakistan, and after that those YouTubers with suspicious links found all the way to the Pakistani government, they have been nabbed, and now Pakistani official has been declared persona non grata by the Indian government. This is for indulging in those activities when it comes to those that his official status does not allow. The Pakistani official has been asked to leave in 24 hours. In fact, there were 2 of them. One has already left, and the second one will leave within those 24 hours. On 13th of May, another Pakistani official working at the High Commission was expelled for allegedly indulging, as I said, in creating some sort of an espionage network. India busted that. It acted against it. Some of those YouTubers have been picked up. Questioning will take place. What happens next in terms of India acting against any of these vested interests? I have Soumya Awasthi, who's a fellow at the ORF and a counter-terrorism expert, joining me to talk more on this. Soumya, you study the Pakistani model of mainstreaming terrorism. You had their defense ministers talking about it on global media. I want to understand from you that as India looks to crack down on terror, what should be his next steps to combat the cross-border terrorism that's coming in from Pakistan?
Thank you, Gaurie, for having me. So, given the news about the new, the Pakistan High Commission staffer Ehsanur Rahim getting, booked under the persona non grata for the espionage activities, I think it's one of the steps towards that. And I think India has sent a strong message here that it has a zero tolerance policy towards cross-border terrorism and its enablers. So, keeping that in mind, I think the cohesive response to the Pahalgam terror attack, this step is one on that track. And now I think Indian government will continue to follow this strong diplomatic strengthening, the tightening of their response by carrying out not just overt but covert, both ways of finding the culprits who are supporting the government of Pakistan and its model of terrorism, sitting in Delhi or sitting in India. So that is one thing that they will do. And of course, there have been loud and clear messages by our Prime Minister, by our Foreign Minister, that the way they are holding treaty in abeyance, that is, I think, going to be continued and should be continued, because it's high time that Pakistan gets a message that the treaty was not under any pressure, but it was a goodwill gesture that India showed to Pakistan. And now with that goodwill going out of the window, I think this is the right time and right point.
You know, Soumya, about an hour back, India also sent out a very strong message to Turkey. It told Turkey, it told Erdogan that you're backing this cross-border terrorism. India is watching. New Delhi said that in no uncertain terms. How do you see that messaging that the government is sending out even to those international backers of Pakistan's cross-border terrorism network?
Yeah, so India is actually demonstrating a very proactive and punitive diplomatic posture when it comes to deterrence. And it's also sending out not just message to Pakistan, but also to the entire world, which is going to have been in support of acts like this. Turkey is no less. We all know what kind of fundamentalist ideology exists there. So this step has not just given a message to Turkey, and I think it's a very strong message by cancelling the license of Chalebi, that company, and also telling them that the weapons that they are selling, of course, that Turkey is known for being a biggest arm trading country, but where it is being used and responsible transaction should be taken with seriousness in Turkey. So this step has definitely been a message of punitive diplomatic posture of India, but has not just been for Turkey but also for the world, including our neighbors.
We leave it there, Soumya. Thank you so much for joining me on that story that we're going to keep revisiting. In fact, viewers, on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break, come back on the other side, talk more about another Oval Office ambush, this time South African President Ramaphosa, how he dealt with it, what's the big message there, what's Trump's policy going forward for South Africa. We decode all that. Stay with us.
It's been a difficult year for our family. We're finally going through my Tom's things. I want to make him proud, and that starts by making sure our son is protected.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK.
That's great.
UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000. Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
That money could help with debts or my funeral costs. I'll do it.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 158 552 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
When I woke up, they said, "Alyssa, you've got leukemia." We found out that the chemo wasn't working. So at that point, it was like, I'm gonna die. My consultant was looking for these clinical trials, and she found this one at Great Ormond Street. I'm cancer-free now.
Curing Alyssa was a world first. But cancer is still the biggest killer of children in the UK. Will you help us do more? Search Gosh Care to give £3 a month and help build a new children's cancer centre at Great Ormond Street Hospital, a home for breakthrough research with world-class facilities to help beat cancer for more children. Together, with your kind support, we can help save lives and transform children's cancer care for decades to come. Text CARE to 70125 to give £3 a month and help build our new children's cancer centre. Together, we can beat cancer for more children.
As a dad, I know life's unpredictable. It's all fun and games until it's not.
You okay?
I want my kids to always be looked after. That's why I'm not putting things off anymore and protecting the life we've built by calling Smart Insurance.
Hi, how can I help?
Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
Okay, you can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000 depending on your age.
Brilliant.
If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. And could help my wife pay off the mortgage.
With our Smart Family Guarantee, you'll have peace of mind.
That's good to know.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness. And 10% cashback on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free life insurance quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0800 977 6797 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
We now turn our attention to the Oval Office, where another day, another ambush. That's how it unfolded, where US President Donald Trump used his Oval Office meeting to confront South Africa's president over what he said were important claims against whites in South Africa being treated badly. Trump ordered aides to lower the lights in the room, and there was a video that was played as evidence showing violence against white Afrikaners. The meeting was seen as high risk for Ramaphosa, who was hoping for some sort of a reset in terms of ties with Washington. But he survived what could have been much more serious blow, is what many people say, as far as how this meeting turned out to be. As per analysts, the testy exchange was a reminder of how another White House showdown looked like, that was between Trump and Zelensky not so far back in time. It seems that Ramaphosa kept his composure, pushed back as much as he could, and did not come out as having lost ground, as it was the case with Zelensky. Before I go further, I want to play out that exchange for our viewers to understand just how tense the mood was in the Oval Office. Listen in.
Let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can take land.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No, there is
nothing happens to them.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now been utilized.
The farmers are not black. I don't
now
say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites.
All right, you heard how it was really coming out as far as that exchange is concerned, which is why I want to put forth first the big questions, and then we get in both David K. Johnston's and Mr. Jaksic on this. First up, are Trump's white genocide claims credible? He said that. He said that on several occasions, and that's what the video and photo evidence was all about. Can Johannesburg actually reset its ties with Washington at a time when there is so much of a right-leaning taking place in the Trump administration. Is war of words essentially the future of diplomacy, at least in the Oval Office? That's what it looks like. And lastly, as far as Ramaphosa ambush is concerned, is it essentially Zelensky 2.0? And how will that pave the way for the relationship to go on? And Mr. Johnston, let me start with you. How do you see that testy exchange, and what do you make of the US-South Africa relationship from here on?
Well, I thought President Ramaphosa stood up much better to Donald Trump than Zelensky. He clearly was prepared. The 1,000 crosses on graves, that was just a demonstration, symbolic. There were no graves at that location. It was years ago. There was one picture shown on the screen. It was from the Congo. And the politician that Trump had in the video is a minor character from a minor party who was expelled from the parliament in South Africa. But this is typical of how Donald does things. He's not well informed, and people around him lie as they did in this video. So I think President Ramaphosa stood up to Trump quite well. Of course, South Africa is not one of the countries like India and Qatar that Donald Trump is getting money from. And Donald has said publicly many times he likes people who put money in his pocket. And you will see there was a little dig by President Ramaphosa if you watch the full video, where he says, "I wish I had a plane to give you," referring to the gift from Qatar.
Qatar, yes, indeed. And Nella, come in there. How do you read the testy exchange, and what do you make of the future of the bilateral relationship from here on?
Well, first, I would like to comment on the genocide claims. I believe when it comes to any kind of genocide issues, it's extremely hard to discern the validity of the same, especially because of the sensitivity of the nature and the geopolitical situation at stake. Each country has its own version of the genocide narrative, and the truth becomes blurred in situations like this. So without discerning detailed evidence, not based solely on just one video or claim of a specific group or even the specific administration, we cannot really have a concrete answer. We must look at South Africa's history in order to come to specific answers. I mean, we know in the past it was an apartheid country. We know that it was ruled by a white minority, the Afrikaners. But in all effort, I believe that South Africa has had issues before, but it has come a long way, and it has made successful efforts at reconciliation. So therefore, I think this hasty exchange, we cannot really discern a specific answer whether these claims can be true or not. It just kind of showcases the strategy of the American administration to put leaders on the spot.
So the leaders are being put on the spot as far as Oval Office is concerned for the world to see. And I think that's the future of American diplomacy, at least under Donald Trump. Is that how you see it, Mr. Johnston?
Oh, absolutely. This is to Donald like his quote-unquote reality television show. You'll notice the set is exactly the same as when Zelensky was there. What's going to change is that any future presidents of other countries that Trump wants to humiliate are going to be prepped by their staff, and they're going to know how to respond to Donald. And so it won't work as a long-term strategy. But you will see more of this, and particularly if the leader of a visiting country is not white, because Donald is a white supremacist. In fact, he has been the subject of formal judicial proceedings in the U.S. where he was heavily fined for racist conduct.
All right. Yes, Stella, you want to come in there in terms of how do you see the future of the relationship? Now you want to address that?
Yes, I would like to address the future. I mean, even with the South African president going to the Oval Office and meeting, I think the main goal was the restoration of the bilateral relations between both countries. I think, I mean, some of it was put into the shadow because of the intense conversation during the meeting. However, I do believe that taking into consideration Trump is a businessman, I think he would like to restore the future relations, trade relations with the South African country. And I think basically we've known before that the relations, the trade relations between Africa and the U.S. have relied on the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which was renewed by Congress until September 2025. So I believe that future relations between South Africa and the U.S. will rely on whether Trump will have any kind of implications on the tariffs that are being made, and whether he would honor and renew the AGOA Act that has been previously made between South Africa and the U.S. So whether this agreement, which kind of guarantees that sub-Saharan African countries will have duty-free access to the U.S. market, has now been threatened with the recent tariffs of Trump, and whether Trump will honor this or will continue to impose like the 30% tariff that he had before on South Africa remains to be seen. But I do believe there is a future between the relations of South Africa and Trump. This is just a political strategy, as I said before, to putting leaders on the spot. But if we can learn something from the Zelensky meeting, is that after he was put on that spot and asked for more accountability, later the minerals deal was signed with the US and Ukraine. So maybe that can be one way of looking forward to the relationship between South Africa and the US, that maybe some kind of a deal will actually come after this meeting, because even the South African president was hopeful, and he said the meeting was in a way successful.
Indeed, it was. It didn't have any of the optics that the Zelensky meeting had. And I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining me on India Global. Well, bottom line, viewers, is that this meeting, the one between Donald Trump and South African President Ramaphosa, was essentially Zelensky 2.0. That's what the testy exchange showed. But world leaders have learned their lessons after that meeting. After all, Ramaphosa held his own to make a snide remark about Qatar's plane gift to Donald Trump. And that, of course, shows that he held his composure and, in fact, was prepared. But the fact that trade talks have not been put into cold storage indicates that there is possibility of progress continuing. After all, it's not just about South Africa, it's about the entire sub-Saharan African countries that need to have better trading terms with America. The tariffs that have been imposed need to be negotiated, and Ramaphosa knew that he cannot let that opportunity pass by with losing his composure. And in fact, the lunch that was cancelled when Zelensky left the Oval Office wasn't the case as far as Ramaphosa is concerned. So to that extent, I would say the optics were much better, even though the takeaways may have been limited. All right, on that note, it's time to now take a look at the other big story that we are tracking, which is what's unfolding in Washington, D.C., where 2 staff members of the Israeli embassy were shot and killed near the Jewish Museum in an incident that's been described as an act of anti-Semitic terrorism. The suspect, identified as Elias Rodriguez, is a 30-year-old, and in fact, he chanted "Free Palestine." And that tells you exactly what are the kind of ramifications that lie for Jewish citizens anywhere in the world. It was a young couple life that has been snubbed at the peak of their lives. Now, the top U.S. and Israeli leadership, including President Trump, expressed shock, outrage, but there are several ramifications of what happened here and what its implications would be. And let me get Mr. Hoffman, who's an Israeli-American journalist, to talk more about what this means. Well, firstly, of course, the shocker of an incident has been condemned worldwide. And this, of course, would also mean a reset on 2 occasions, on 2 aspects, Mr. Hoffman. One, a reset as far as how America is viewing the relationship with Israel under Prime Minister Netanyahu. And it could also mean a reset as far as how the world leaders who condemned Prime Minister Netanyahu, particularly EU leaders who snapped trade ties 48 hours back, would probably have to now revisit the war in Gaza.
First of all, let's just focus on the tragedy that happened to this couple. They attended an event at the Jewish Museum in Washington. They were planning on coming to Jerusalem to get married. And it's just so sad and so tragic that it's not safe for American Jews anymore to go to events that take place in a Jewish setting. There needs to be more security at such events because this movement that they say is to free Palestine, but ends up being to support terror groups that are operating in America, in Israel, and in India. That just needs to be stopped. And that's before any political ramifications that you asked
completely
about.
agree with you, sir. I completely agree with you, because this is also happening on a day when it's been 1 month since the Pahalgam terror attack took place in India. So we understand what the scourge of terrorism is, and India stands by Israel, and we've said that as well. So terrorism is a global scourge. I was asking you about the fact that will this now also change a lot of the other moving pieces that we were talking about, that I asked you earlier? Some of these EU leaders, only 48 hours back, were talking about snapping trade ties with Israel, weren't they? Will they now be forced to do a recheck and rethink?
I doubt it. You know, we saw how your foreign minister, as it says on the screen, was one of the first to contact Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar and condemn the attack. That's much appreciated here in Israel. The EU leaders have no spine, and that's not going to change even when they see how terrorism is out of control in America. It's going to happen in England too, and they're going to be at fault because they've decided to endorse these kinds of events, unfortunately, rather than fight them. When they call for Israel to end this war before Hamas is defeated, they're just enabling Hamas to be able to continue to attack along with their allies in Western countries.
Shocking story that I promise NDTV will keep covering till its logical end. Thank you so much, Mr. Hoffman, for joining me on that note. It's time to, in fact, slip into a very short break. Coming up on the other side is the NDTV World Big Exclusive with Banu Mushtaq.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Fault Lines with Gaurie Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
Bomin Irani, your acting career begins at a very young age of 41. And so usse pehle it was photography. You had captured India through the lens of a photographer, and then you worked in the hospitality sector as well. Before that. So while you were, dabbling between so many roles, which one is it, and when was it that you realized that it is acting?
I think when I was very young, my love was always cinema, actually. I used to watch all kinds of movies even at a very young age. Very young, and a lot of people used to wonder why I would watch movies that were not part of my pay grade. Why am I watching these kind of movies? Not because they were adult or they were, I just loved the movies. And my mother encouraged me to watch movies. I understood the world, humanity, the human condition, art, music, drama, lyrics, everything. Lighting, I love lighting. So my thing was I always wanted to be a director, actually, strangely. I never saw myself in movies, but I love to act. But just chronologically,
Winner of the International Booker Prize is Pahalgam by Banu Mushtaq, translated by Deepa Basti.
This moment feels like 1,000 fireflies lighting up a single sky. Thank you from the depths of my soul. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't know what I would have done without you. Thank you, everyone.
Banu Mushtaq has become the first Kannada writer to win the coveted International Booker Prize on Tuesday in London. Along with the £50,000 prize pool, she received the honour for her short story collection, Heart Lamp. The book was translated by Deepa Bhasti from Kannada to English. And in fact, Mushtaq will share the prize money with Deepa Bhasti for that. In fact, Mushtaq described this as a collective win of diversity while receiving the award at Tate Modern in London. Heart Lamp was amongst the 6 titles that were shortlisted by the jury, and they described the book as witty, vivid and moving. Banu Mushtaq, who has donned multiple hats throughout her life, displays a collection of 12 short stories in the book that's written between 1990 and 2023. The stories reflect her background as a journalist, as an advocate, while focusing on the indomitable spirit of women fighting for their rights and demanding justice in a patriarchal society. I'm going to first play out the sound bites of Banu Mushtaq and Deepa Bhasti as they took that award, and then we're going to play out that very exclusive conversation that I had with Banu Mushtaq. Stay with us.
If I may borrow a phrase from my own culture, this moment feels like 1,000 fireflies lighting up a single sky, brief, brilliant, and utterly collective. To even stand among these extraordinary finalists is an honor to me. I will never forget, and I accept this great honor not as an individual, but as a voice raised in chorus with so many others. I am happy for the entire world, which is full of diversity and inclusiveness. I am happy for myself and my translator, Deepa Bhasti. This is more than a personal achievement. It is an affirmation that we as individuals and as a global community can thrive when we embrace diversity, celebrate our differences, and uplift one another. This book is my love letter to the idea that no story is local, that a tale born under a banyan tree in my village can cast shadows as far as this stage tonight. To every reader who journeyed with me, you have made my Kannada language a shared home. It is a language that sings of resilience and nuance. To write in Kannada is to inherit a legacy of cosmic wonder.
The story of the world, if you really think about it, is a history of erasures. It is characterized by the effacement of women's triumphs and the furtive rubbing away of collective memory of how women and those on the many margins of this world live and love. This prize is a small win in a long, ongoing battle against such violences. Elsewhere, there is erasure in the media and people's understanding of works of literature, of translators, and the work we do to bring what would otherwise be unread, uncelebrated texts to new and very different sets of readers. Which is why it is so heartening that the International Booker celebrates and places both writers and writer-translators on the same page, so to speak. Thank you, first and foremost, to the International Booker judges for loving these stories and my translation of them. And what a win this is for my beautiful language. Kannada is one of the oldest languages on earth, and I'm ecstatic that this will hopefully lead to a greater interest in reading and writing and translating more and from the language, and by extension from and into the magical languages we have in South Asia.
Banuji, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV.
Welcome. Thank you.
Your writings have opened, your thought-provoking writings have opened up to the entire English-speaking audience through the translation by Deepa, and it really provided the kind of purpose that many Indian women were looking in terms of voicing their thoughts. And let me start by asking you, Banuji, how your writings are almost like a life's journey, chronicling experiences across 3 decades. How do you feel when it struck a chord with a global audience?
Yeah, I'm extremely happy. It's an incredible journey I have gone through, because all this started during 2022, when one of my story was translated by Deepa Bhasti and submitted to a contest. It was once again the same process, long-listed, short-listed, and it won the contest. The part of the package was one complete book of that author would be published in English. So afterwards, we could not stop the process. It went on, and it has landed in the Booker Prize Award.
Indeed. Your writings, many feel, are actually a reflection of your personal experiences, isn't it? Of many women in Muslim societies, in patriarchal societies in India. What do you think the global English-speaking audience found most compelling in these experiences, in these stories?
Yeah, global English audience, they were highly impressed by this characterization, the fiction, and the way of storytelling. They're impressed even by the style. They say it starts in an innocent way and gives an abrupt shock during the course of the story. And they are impressed by so many things that they discussed in my previous, introductions with the press and the Booker Committee, jury's speech, everything. I have come to the conclusion that it is a new thing that they are going through, because the entire stories which are in Heartland, they are socially committed pieces of their lives. They are individual experiences which have been documented by me, but it is not a real, it is not only the real stories. They are not only the real experiences, but also it has grown in mind in a fiction, and it has come to this form, which has been accepted by the global audience, and they are very happy. They are analyzing it, and they say, this is not only, it doesn't pertain only to Muslim women and only to South India. It has got universal quality. It can be applied to anywhere, wherever women are there. These types of issues, these types of turmoil, these types of emotional explosions, it can be traced universally in all the parts of the world. That is their, opinion.
Indeed, human emotion has a universal appeal, and you were appealing to women across the world, isn't it? Some of the conflicts that they have, some of the turmoil that goes on in their minds, whether it's about family, social pressures, and of course the desire to follow your heart, isn't it?
The subjugation of women, yes. All these things, it has got universal characterization.
I'm intrigued to ask you, why was it that you chose Kannada as your language of expression? You're fluent in several languages, but you chose Kannada to express yourself. Why was that?
Yeah, the thing is, I am a Muslim. I have come from a traditional Muslim family, and our mother tongue is Dakhni Urdu. It is not as sophisticated as the North Indian Urdu, but it is a Dakhni Urdu wherein various colloquial influences are there, even Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, and all.
If your garage looks like this, you need Tougher Man, a leading supplier of shelving for your home or business. Assembly is quick, easy and boltless. Buy one bay from just $59.99, or you can get 3 bays from only $119.99, saving you nearly £60. Plus you get a 5-year Storelex steel guarantee. Order now at tougherman.co.uk.
Translated from Urdu many books to Kannada. As Kannada is my medium of instruction, I feel it very fluent, and artistically I can convey and I can express in Kannada only, not in Urdu, not in English, not in any other language except Kannada. I cannot express myself effectively, fluently, artistically. Only in Kannada I can do it.
It's
That's why I write in Kannada.
It's the language where you build bridges the most, isn't it? So,
yes.
You mentioned about translation. I want to ask you, the translation is actually probably one of the most challenging parts, right? Because you want to keep the essence of your writing, but also ensure that it opens up to a global readership, global audience. How challenging was it, and what were the kind of discussions that you had with Deepa when Heart Lamp was being translated from Kannada to English?
So during the translation, I took the decision that I should not meddle with her choice of stories, because all my stories there are about 6 collections published so far from 1990 to 2023, and among them there are about 60 plus stories. And I sent the entire volume to Deepa and asked her to select the stories whichever she likes, and she made a list of the stories and sent it to me, and I am comfortable and I am impressed by these stories, she told me, and I want to translate this. That's it. I said go ahead. I asked her whether she can make a choice of mine also, whether she can include it in these parts. 1 or 2 stories that I have suggested that also have been included in it. But I would like to say it is mostly the Deepa's choice prevails there. And she did it, though she is Kannada of Deepa's area and my area. It varies a lot, even in accent and in the
local dialects must be different. Local dialects must be different from Shivamogga and from Kodagu, where she is. Yeah.
Yes. Even then, and she's also well versed with Urdu words and English. Though she's known she has known English, but she also tried her level best to know that I have used a lot of Urdu words, because some of these stories are from the Muslim background. So I easily use namaz, asar, isha, janaza, masjid, all these things, they come as a natural and organic way in my stories. And Deepa, she mentioned them as it is. She retained that original essence in the translation also. And thereby, that is why even the English-speaking people also liked that translation, because that essence and taste of Kannada and regionality and local taste has been retained in the translation. That is also one of the reasons.
Indeed. It's actually a very challenging part to be true to the author and also true to the story as well as the audience. So it's a challenging task, which brings me then to also ask you about one thing, that how do you see your award, this recognition, acting as a catalyst in terms of promoting more regional literature from India? There are lots of other regional authors, their stories waiting to be discovered. Do you think your award, your recognition will act as a catalyst for promoting some of them?
Yes, yes, of course. It influences. I do agree with you because Indian literature and Indian local literature is having high potential. And this potentiality is not exposed to the entire world. Because it is only sectarian, it has limited to its geographical limitations, it has been adapted. But of course, my stories were previously translated to Malayalam, the Tamil, Hindi, Punjabi, these local, that is Indian languages. But when even English translation was also there, but in one bulk there was no translation of mine. So what happens is our local knowledge, local culture, local tradition, and local literature, it has it has to break the boundaries and move forward. These boundaries, not only for men, but for literature, this boundary is not a good thing. It has to be shattered, it has to be broken, and it has to be translated into various other international languages, that too to English language, because from English it will be translated to all other world languages. That's why. And the major thing is, in India we are consciously ignoring the translation of our works to English. It has to be speeded up. It has to be taken up by the government, by the NGOs, by the Sahitya Academy, Sahitya Pradhikara, etc. These organizations should take initiative in this connection.
I think it's stories like yours that act as that inflection point, catalyst for regional literature to be embraced in a larger way. And you write about the fact that English audiences should be exposed to some of the stories which are universal in nature but get trapped because of a certain language barrier, which brings me to ask you a question that many want to sort of come by, which is that literature has this universal appeal. It has a power to unite people, unify people across the board. What would you like to say in terms of several language controversies that we are seeing around in India itself, given the fact that language actually has the ability to unite rather than divide?
Yeah, there are, I say in India, there are about more than 700 languages. And most of these languages are Indian originated. See, language, it will be pleased, it will be accepted, it will be spoken, it will be appreciated by all the people. Now, in the entire India, people love to be multilingual. It's not a sin to be multilingual. But when language becomes politics, the politics of language, all these things are happening due to the politics of language. This politicalization of the language, and wherein there are certain apprehensions from one part of people that language is used to dominate and subjugate the entire population. That apprehension is giving a lot of controversies, has opened up some controversies, and this shady imposition of the language, it should be stopped. It's my opinion. Because everybody welcomes a language, and everybody wants to speak in a language of their convenience, and there is no hatred against any language. But the politicalization of the language, that is where the problem starts.
Absolutely.
Consciously, it should be avoided.
I bought cars on finance, so I've made my claim.
If our lenders charge hidden commissions, then I've made my claim.
I could be on thousands.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim. It's so quick and simple.
You could be owed thousands in hidden commissions from vehicles bought on finance since 2007, even without the details.
I've made my claim.
Trust myclaimgroup.co.uk.
Claims made simple.
Ladies and gentlemen, we found the reason why Britain hasn't been so great of late. It's because the country hasn't been eating enough Weetabix.
It makes sense. I've been eating croissants.
Me too. We should deliver Weetabix to where it's needed most, to whoever's in charge of fixing potholes. VAR.
Yes.
And drivers who park like this.
Yeah.
To Britain, we must say, have you had your Weetabix?
Just sorted my guaranteed over 50 plan with Sun Life. There's even a cash payout. Nice one. It's given me the confidence to look after myself. I've started learning jiu-jitsu.
Come on! Search Sun Life Plan today and get a free gift card.
This summer, take on the 1 Million Step Challenge for Diabetes UK. Just over 10,000 steps a day, 3 months, one life-changing challenge. Step for a happier, healthier you. Step for your loved ones. Step for everyone affected by diabetes. From the 1st of July, pound the pavement. And every pound you raise will help fund life-changing research and support. Because when you move, we move for everyone living with diabetes. So sign up for the 1 Million Step Challenge. Just search Step for Diabetes and take that life-changing first step today.
Don't miss Sharp's half-price spring savings. Get Sharp's bespoke fitted furniture for every room, from living spaces to home offices and bedrooms. Many ranges are now half price, including our must-have Manhattan range. Our exclusive Space Plus system means we won't be beaten on space. Plus, you get our 15-year guarantee for total peace of mind. Our half-price spring savings end Bank Holiday Monday. Book your free home design visit today at sharps.co.uk.
I bought cars on finance, so I've made my claim.
If our lenders charged hidden commissions, then I'd made my claim.
I could be on thousands.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim.
I've made my claim. It's so quick and simple.
You could be owed thousands in hidden commissions from vehicles bought on finance since 2007, even without the details.
I've made my claim.
Trust myclaimgroup.co.uk.
Claims made simple.
My last question is exactly what we started this conversation with, which is about women's stories, women's experiences. What is your message to all the millions of women who've read your stories, who are watching this right now, your message to all those women struggling with several of those life experiences that you've chronicled, that you've documented in your stories?
Yes, I say to all my sisters, though in the course of time we are accused that we are talkative, we are backbiting, we pull each other's legs, and we are incompetent. All these names are named against us. I say, be conscious about things. These things are kind only, it's a political act. These things are kind only to, subjugate, as a weapon to subjugate it. I say we are not that bad, we are good, and I want all my sisters to get hand-holding and to, propagate sisterhood that will give very positive results, and we can celebrate that also. But diversity is there, I do agree. Let us celebrate our diversity also.
All right, we leave it there. Banu Mushtaq, thank you so much for speaking to me after that historic recognition of your work, of your writings, and I hope it opens the floodgates to more regional literature from India being recognized across the board. Thank you so much for speaking to NDTV.
Thank you.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Fault Lines with Gaurie Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever.
Dulux Standard 2.5 litre coloured emulsion, now £15. Feel as proud as a peacock with Wix.
If your garage looks like this, you need Tougher Man. A leading supplier of shelving for your home or business. Assembly is quick, easy and boltless. Buy one bay from just $59.99, or you can get 3 bays from only $119.99, saving you nearly £60. Plus you get a 5-year Storelex steel guarantee. Order now at tougherman.co.uk.
Ladies and gentlemen, we found the reason why Britain hasn't been so great of late. It's because the country hasn't been eating enough Weetabix.
It makes sense. I've been eating croissants.
Me too. We should deliver Weetabix to where it's needed most, to whoever's in charge of fixing potholes. VAR.
Yes.
And drivers who park like this.
Yes.
To Britain, we must say, have you had your Weetabix?
Magic family moments deserve the perfect setting. A stylish awning from House is the ideal addition to your outdoor space. Available in a range of colours and finishes, and with the option of integrated lighting and heating, you can enjoy your outdoor space for even longer. Now that is magic. House awnings, made for life.
Sun's out, fun's out. At Tesco Mobile, our deals will help you get the most out of summer. Get a SIM with 100 gigs of data for just £16 a month with Club Card prices. And what's more, we'll help you save on your summer activities by collecting £20 worth of Club Card points too. How you choose to spend them is up to you. It pays to be connected. Search Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
This is an important message for people living with diabetes from people living with diabetes.
When I was experiencing the symptoms of diabetes, I didn't know what was going on.
You go on the internet and it's full of horror stories.
I didn't understand about carbs, I didn't understand about blood glucose levels.
That's why the support I get as a Diabetes UK member is so important.
You can become a Diabetes UK member for just £3 a month. When you do, you'll receive a practical guide specific to your type of diabetes and a copy of Balance magazine 4 times a year. Plus, you'll help support research that could lead to better treatments for all types of diabetes.
As members, we're all working it out together.
Call 0800 144 5410 or go online to become a Diabetes UK member for just £3 a month. Join us now, because membership can help you learn to live better with diabetes.
In the Rania Rao gold smuggling case, the scanner on Home Minister Parameshwara over links to the actress Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar's comments put the Home Minister in a spot. First up this evening, sharp observations from the Apex Court, which said that the Enforcement Directorate is, and I quote, crossing all limits, unquote, and stayed the investigations and raids in the TASMAC, or the Tamil Nadu State Marketing Corporation case. The ED has raided the managing director, several distilleries, the TASMAC office and others in an alleged scam in TASMAC, which controls procurement and distribution of liquor in Tamil Nadu. The Enforcement Directorate had alleged collusion between distillers, bottle suppliers and TASMAC in generating thousands of crores of unaccounted cash, and the ruling DMK in Tamil Nadu has accused the centre of using the Enforcement Directorate to politically target the state. Meanwhile, a legal setback for the Tamil Nadu government as the Madras High Court stayed newly enacted laws on the appointment of Vice-Chancellors. The Apex Court, remember, had deemed assent as given by the governor to the bills that was not cleared by him. My colleague Sam Daniel puts the TASMAC case and the legal developments in context.
In a major setback to the Enforcement Directorate and a shot in the arm for the ruling DMK in Tamil Nadu, the Supreme Court today has stayed all proceedings by the Enforcement Directorate into the alleged TASMAC scam. Chief Justice made some strong observations, calling the ED destroying federalism and asking specific questions. While there are cases against individuals in the form of FIRs filed against them, why against the corporation? The ED had searched the headquarters of the TASMAC in the month of March, and the Tamil Nadu government and TASMAC had moved the Supreme Court alleging harassment by the ED. It had made all the workers stay there, from the managing director to the security guard, and they were given only 6 hours time at night. It continued for 3 days, and the Madras High Court had earlier ruled there was no violation, and now the Supreme Court has stayed this, and the ED would have to file its affidavit after the vacation. The ED alleges there's a 1,000 crore scam in collusion between bottle manufacturing companies and distilleries, besides corruption in the transport of liquor, issue of bar licenses, and also sale of liquor at a higher price at the TASMAC outlets, between 10 and 30 rupees a bottle, more than the maximum retail price. The observations and the stay come on technical grounds, irrespective of the merits of the case. Politically, this has given meat for the ruling DMK to strengthen its narrative that the ED is targeting political opponents, particularly in states like Tamil Nadu, ruled by the opposition. The BJP, of course, has denied these allegations, saying that ED goes by the rule book. This development comes a day after the Madras High Court stayed many recently enacted bills or laws which were given assent by the Supreme Court against the pertaining to the governor, and in this case these are related to appointment of vice chancellors. These laws had clipped the powers of the governor as chancellor and had given the powers to the state government to appoint vice chancellors, and this now has been stayed. The petitioner, a BJP functionary, has argued that these are repugnant to the UGC guidelines with regard to appointment of vice chancellors and should not be allowed to be in operation.
Right. Strong observations from the Apex Court to the Enforcement Directorate. That's our first focus this evening. This may not be the final act in the TASMAC saga, though. Joining me this evening, Salem Dharanidharan of the DMK and SG Surya of the BJP. Thanks to the both of you for joining us here on the Southern Views. Dharanidharan, while it's a sharp observation on the ED's actions, it may just be a temporary reprieve. Corruption in TASMAC is seen as an extremely serious issue.
But who's saying it is corruption? Right? ED is saying, what is ED's pedigree? ED's conviction rate in the last 11 years has been 0.1%, 0.1%. And 95% of the ED cases filed in the last 11 years have been on the opposition for political leaders. ED's cases have increased by 10 times, but 95% opposition leaders. I'll tell you an anecdote from West Bengal. One TMC leader was arrested by ED, put in prison, and he agrees and joins the BJP. The moment he joins BJP, the case is withdrawn. Then again he goes and joins Trinamool Congress. Again, ED goes and arrests him. That means, does it mean there's one constitution and one law if you're a part of BJP and there's other law if you're not part of BJP? What happened to Ajit Pawar? He was in the radar, his properties were seized, his wife was summoned, wife was investigated. He now joined BJP, finance minister. Why isn't no action taken on him? So ED is nothing but an external arm of the BJP, is used to destroy democracy in the country, like how you see in authoritarian regimes, like how the ruling party used vindictive methods, such as ED equivalent, to harass the opposition leaders. In Russia, the opposition leader was put in prison on a false pretext. So this is so ED is the sole reason why democracy in this country is being destroyed. And I'll go further and say, why are they not able to prove any cases? Right? And ED officers have been caught. In Tamil Nadu, ED officers have been caught taking bribe. ED officers have been caught taking bribe in Rajasthan. So ED itself is not sacrosanct above the law. So time and again, Supreme Court has said, who gives the ED the right to go and investigate? Right? How can he go and investigate? There has to be a prima facie evidence to investigate. There's no prima facie evidence here. They can't randomly go to Veera Raghav or Dharanidharan and investigate and take my phone and go, right? It has to be a prima facie. The Supreme Court is time and again saying what ED is doing is wrong.
You made a point. Let me get SG Surya to respond to this. Surya, the problem is that irrespective of what the facts are in the TASMAC case, the political perception being built, and with the Supreme Court's observation as well, gets bolstered that the ED is targeting the Tamil Nadu government.
I Factually, Dharnidharan was wrong when he says Mukul Roy was arrested when he joined TMC back. No, he was not arrested. That's a fact check. Secondly, coming to the task mark, there are two aspects
never
to it.
said Mukul Roy.
One is the moral and ethical angle. The second one is the legal angle. Probably DMK today has a temporary victory in the legal angle. When it comes to the moral angle, Salem Dharnidharan's own boss, PTR Tyagarajan, who was the former finance minister, after presenting the 2022 Tamil Nadu budget as finance minister, has given an open statement that there is 50% leakage in the task mark revenue. Assuming 49,000 crores as the task mark revenue for the last financial year. So, admittedly, there is a 24,000 crore leakage. Secondly, the task mark union head, which is affiliated to the communist parties, they have made repeated allegations that there is huge corruption going in the task mark administration. Today, as the Supreme Court gave a judgment, there is a taskmark employee who made an open video and committed suicide, saying that he is unable to cope up with the bribe that is sought by the taskmark senior officials, which they have to give anyway, collecting from the people who buy liquor at the taskmark shops. When it comes to the legal angle, the Supreme Court has given only a temporary stay because the ED was not given sufficient time to corroborate and give the evidences that were acquired recently in the raids that happened last week in Tamil Nadu. There is apparently a link between the movie making company and Tasmak. It is allegedly said that the money amassed through Tasmak is routed to the movie industry in Tamil Nadu. Chief Minister Stalin's own relatives whose residences were raided last week are still absconding today. So there is too much to see into this. The temporary Supreme Court stay will not vindicate DMK of any of the corruption allegations that is pertaining to the taskmark liquor scam.
It's a temporary reprieve. It is not the final verdict. Just as it happened in the Madras High Court, you're saying that eventually we'll see how this plays out. Salem Dharnidharan, while you make your point emphatically, there are several observers who have even come on this show and have said that whether it was the AIDMK in power or whether it is the DMK in power, the fact that there is corruption in TASMAC is an open secret. The perception being built is that TASMAC is a cash cow for whichever party rules Tamil Nadu.
See, firstly, I'd like to correct SG Surya. There's only one boss for us in the DMK, which is my leader, MK Stalin. Of course, the cabinet minister referred could be my very good friend, so are other cabinet ministers. Right. See, when we came to power, it's my leader and the then finance minister made a statement that there are leakages in TASMAC and we have plugged the leakages, which is why the revenue increased, not because of extra sales. We have plugged the leakages that happened during ADMK's, BJP's alliance partner, ADMK. In fact, TASMAC as such was founded by ADMK's, BJP's alliance partner, ADMK. Having said it, in 2011, elections and 2014 elections in Tamil Nadu were fought by BJP on the plank of 2G scam. But we said there is no 2G scam. It was a policy to benefit the poor. 11 years down the line, where has the case gone? All of them have been acquitted because there is no corruption. That is why SG Surya came and narrated very well like a movie script, but there is no merit in it. I can go and accuse anyone of everything. I can go and accuse my friend SG Surya of having amassed 2,000 crores to deals. I can go and say I can prepare, but I have to prove it, no? I have to have proof. Does he have proof?
So
if anyone has proof, they can go come and give me the proof.
SG Surya, the point Salem Dharnidharan making is strong. 2 points. One, you have to prove in a court of law, which is going to take many years. Two, he says corruption is an irrelevant issue when it comes to an election. The BJP is catching an issue which is not going to prove electorally powerful for it.
No, TASMAC is largely affecting the poor people of the state. The poor people who are already addicted to the TASMAC are asked to pay a bribe of 10 rupee per bottle as extra money. Apparently, collection per day is 10 crores. Imagine 300 crores in a month, 3,600 crores in a year. Where is it going? That is the moot point. One of the DMK's closely associated person has proudly put an Instagram post where he has shared his watch collections, which is amounting to 250 crores. Where is this money coming from? If the DMK is not scared of any ill-doing, why are they scared of ED? Let ED come and investigate. Let them give summons. You go and appear. Why are your people absconding from even the summons? Why are your people even absconding from the summons? Who is Akash Bhaskar and why is he absconding? Why is Senthil Balaji's brother absconding for more than 2 years? What were you doing without catching him? So the question is at large. You may tell corruption is irrelevant, but wait for the time this corruption is going to come and haunt you come the 2026 elections. Please do not underestimate the anger of poor people of Tamil Nadu. They are going to come against you very soon.
All right, 10 seconds, Selim Dharanitharan. Final point. It's a warning from SG Surya that it is going to come to haunt you in 2026. 10 seconds for a final answer before I close.
The problem with ED is that too much power has been given because it was set up for a different reason, to stop funding for drugs and terrorism-related activities. So ED's power is that you can be kept indefinitely in prison in the name of interrogation, which Supreme Court has questioned if it's legitimate. That is the problem. So if ED coming and arresting does not mean someone has committed a crime. It means that they are suspected of having a crime. That is too much power given ED. It is different to a police act. It is different to police act.
It's a corruption allegation versus political targeting
Money
is
Act
the narrative that is playing out. I get the point that you're making, but we'll have to end this conversation right here because we're completely out of time. But thanks to the two of you for joining us here on the Southern View. Of course, the face-off over the bills for Vice-Chancellor appointments is also another big issue playing out in Tamil Nadu. Now to the other big story from Karnataka, the Rania Rao gold smuggling case turning into a political storm and threatening now to hit Home Minister of Karnataka G. Parameswara. The Enforcement Directorate raided the educational trust allegedly linked to the Home Minister, while Parameswara denied any links to the actor and the case. The Congress accused the ED of politically targeting him. However, Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar, who defended Parameswara from any wrongdoing, said Parameswara may have given money as a wedding gift to Rania Rao. The ED is allegedly probing 40 lakh rupees paid to Rania Rao by an educational institution allegedly linked to the Home Minister. Listen into the reactions.
See, we are in public life, we run institutions, so many run institutions. As a gesture to people who know, we may give a lot of gifts. We give gifts. We give 1 rupee, we give 10 rupees, we give 10 lakhs, 5 lakhs. I think that you might have also given a gift for the marriage. I think there is nothing wrong in it. No minister or no politician will support the activities. Whatever the activities has done by that lady, it is a personal issue and it is wrong and the law will take its own course.
Anything about this ED raids?
Morning,
so right now, Mr. D.K. Shivkumar has confirmed that you had told him that there was a gift that was given to Rania for her wedding. So you could just give us a little bit of clarity as to what this gift was, sir. Would you like to say anything, sir, in terms of the gift that was given? Mr. D.K. Shivkumar just confirming that this was a gift.
You ask D.K. Shivkumar.
But will you cooperate with the investigation?
Of course, of course.
Well, Deepak Bopanna also puts the entire case, the raids, into context for us.
The biggest twist to the Rania Rao gold smuggling case now seems to be the political link that's emerging. The Enforcement Directorate carried out raids at multiple locations. One of the locations included an educational institution linked to the Karnataka Home Minister, Mr. G. Parameswar. Now, while earlier today we saw multiple leaders, of course, say that this is once again a political witch hunt by the BJP using, the Enforcement Directorate or in the past using other central agencies to target the opposition, the statement of the Deputy Chief Minister, Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, has really opened up a Pandora's box. Now, while the Enforcement Directorate yesterday, without naming the person, said that on the behest of an influential person, about 40 lakh rupees was transferred from an educational trust to pay the credit card bills of Rania Rao. Today, Mr. D.K. Shivkumar has gone ahead and said that while he had a conversation with Mr. G. Parameswar, he has informed him that a certain amount of money was given to Rania Rao as a wedding gift. Now, how much was this money? This has not been specified. Now, while we asked the Home Minister about this, he, of course, refused to answer. He went on to say, well, this question should be directed at the person who made it, that is Mr. D.K. Shivkumar. But right now, with the Deputy Chief Minister confirming financial transaction between a minister, sitting minister, and Rania Rao, who's an accused in the gold smuggling case, does this really spell trouble for the Karnataka Home Minister? And does it also put the Congress party in a spot of bother is the big question.
Well, too much conjuncture at this stage, but will this turn into a political storm that could hit the Home Minister and perhaps the Congress government? Joining me this evening, BJP's Bhaskar Rao and Congress's Bhavya Narasimhamurthy. Thanks to the two of you for being here with us. Bhavya, while your party has accused the ED of politically targeting the Home Minister, if there is any financial transaction linking him to Rania Rao, even an iota of it, it could become a huge embarrassment.
The party and even the minister himself have also said that he's going to completely cooperate with any investigations that happens. We respect the law of the land. We respect the law and order. Whatever the investigation comes out, we will only be speaking about it later, right? Now, all the speculation the BJP is doing and the witch hunting they're doing, how many times such cases have turned out to be just fake? So let's just wait until the investigation is over before concluding any of this. If there is...
No, you're saying let's wait till the investigation is over. Absolutely,
because the
one will
minister
wait till the
himself has
investigation is
no
over.
one is saying...
But the question that a home minister has come under a scanner in a case of this nature, and your own deputy chief minister says that he may have given money as a wedding gift, some institution.
You know, these days, don't you think...
Is that putting the whole case in a spot now?
You know, these days when it comes to ED, anyone can come under a scanner. And the conviction rate is less than, a single digit, I'm sure. So anyone and anything can come under ED's scanner, because it has only been like a pet animal to BJP, which it unleashes against opposition. So just by saying they come under scanner, that doesn't make them the perpetrator. Who is perpetrator?
No, while you say that, ma'am,
a perpetrator. Let us see if they want to investigate, because all this while they went after more and more, so many opposition leaders, and everything turned out to be something else. How many people have been convicted? How many cases ED has registered? And if you see during UPA government, more than UPA government, around 49% of the cases where ED has, accused the politicians, were included all, even UPA partners. Only 51% or something was on opposition. But right now, 97% of the cases that ED takes is against opposition leaders. Any party which is opposing BJP.
Bhavya,
so now, let us see.
Bhavya, unfortunately, I still don't have Bhaskar Rao joining us here. No, you're making a very strong point, but I don't have Bhaskar Rao yet on the show. Unfortunately, we're not able to get through to him. So for the moment, it's just you. And I'm playing devil's advocate here. What's being inferred of DK Shiv Kumar's comments is that the internal Congress troubles are also playing out in some way. The fact that he says that it could have been a wedding gift when the Home Minister says that there was no idea that he had of it. Is there a sense of worry within the Congress that this case could end up putting the Home Minister in a spot?
Very clearly, the DCM said, we are public, we have a public career and we keep gifting people, right? If from starting from 10 rupee and whatever his dialogue was, what he meant was not to accuse another minister or Parameshwar sir. Because the media kept asking, he said, we do gift. But that doesn't mean this was a gift or whatever. This will come out in investigation. Right? And to attribute every statement of one of the ministers and say that, Congress has this internal problem and it comes out like this. No, that's very wrong. We are in government right now. We are ruling and that's the deputy chief minister you're talking about. So why would he want to ruin his own government by saying something like that? Whatever the Congress problems we have internal, we'll solve it ourselves. But I don't think this is something to do with the party or the interpolitics or whatever you're speaking about. This is just very plain. None of our ministers are saying we're not going to cooperate. Any investigation, we're always open to it. ED has always done that, right? Starting from Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, everyone has been cooperative with any investigation that has happened. The only question the media needs to ask right now is what is the conviction rate of these cases and why BJP is being so vindictive to use ED like this. and go after every
All right,
minister,
you're asking
any
a very
corrupt
serious question.
Politician who is in opposition.
It's been
party.
asked by several opposition parties. The question you're asking has been asked by several opposition parties. I'll pose it to Bhaskar Rao if he's able to join. I believe in another 20 seconds we could go across to him. We'll try and get across to him. But till then, Bhavya, one last question to you. Given that this is the stepdaughter of a DGP, the fact that there has been, connection being made out to the state's home minister, at least in terms of public perception, despite the fact, notwithstanding the fact that you are making accusation of the ED politically targeting an opposition-ruled government, opposition-ruled state, the fact that the sense of the home minister coming under the realm of this does come as an embarrassment at some stage.
The lady in question, she has misused the protocol, misused her stepfather's position to, get through the customs and all of that. That's everybody knows, and I think even he's under investigation. But
Bhavya,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm just interrupting you because I believe Bhaskar Rao has joined. Bhaskar Rao, you've got the last 2 minutes. You've joined late, but the accusation being made is that this is categorically a case of the ED targeting the home minister.
See, ED is not an unprofessional organization to go behind politicians. When ED acts, it acts on the basis of some information or another investigative agency, etc. It has nothing to gain in going and targeting Parmeshwar. The writing on the wall has been very clear about the association of Mr. Parmeshwar and the actress in question, and the stepfather of the actress and the Honorable Home Minister. So, clues have come to the fore, and the Home Minister has himself admitted to gifting 40 lakh rupees as a wedding gift. Normally, wedding gifts are in the lesser denomination over here. So, when he has himself made an admission, and when this kind of wealth which this actress is using herself to be as a mule, is finding its way into such educational institutions, etc., etc., and she is a recipient of this ill-gotten wealth. And ED is well in its boundaries to investigate the laundering of money. And Mr. Parmeshwar has himself said, let investigation take place. Why get rattled? Let truth come out. Let truth come out. And let us see what is actual connection. Why is it that a minister having a medical college is interested in giving a 40 lakh rupees gift to the actress in question? Let truth come out over here.
The perception of a political targeting seems to keep coming up.
No, these are all irrelevant things over there. Does it mean that anybody can get away with anything or what? There is an evidence to come over here. It is not a local petty police station that somebody is being acting over there. It is running. Congress also has been in power. They have also run the enforcement directorate, etc. over there. When some evidence is there, that evidence is being investigated into. So give time to ED to investigate. Give time to ED to investigate. And blatant connection has risen. And we have seen it in media also, the close connection between the actress in question and her stepfather and the Minister Parmeshwar, etc., etc. Let truth get unraveled.
You made your point, but unfortunately, I've run completely out of time. But thanks very much for to both you and Bhavya for joining us here on the Southern View. We'll keep a close watch on that case. That's all we have time for this evening. News and updates continue right here on NDTV.
Life's full of times like this. Oh yeah. The gaps between the good stuff. Okay. Like killing time in waiting rooms. It's not long until you've had enough. David, it's time for some tombola. Working on that flat pack. Open for fun. Been bulking up the 6-pack. Open for fun. Yes! I've run £11! All right, calm down. It's just a bit of bingo. Open for fun.
If your garage looks like this, you need Tougher Man. A leading supplier of shelving for your home or business. Assembly is quick, easy and boltless. Buy 1 bay from just $59.99, or you can get 3 bays from only $119.99. saving you nearly £60. Plus, you get a 5-year Storelex steel guarantee. Order now at tougherman.co.uk.
Ladies and gentlemen, we found the reason why Britain hasn't been so great of late. It's because the country hasn't been eating enough Weetabix.
It makes sense. I've been eating croissants.
Me too. We should deliver Weetabix to where it's needed most, to whoever's in charge of fixing potholes. VAR.
Yes.
And drivers who park like this.
Yeah.
To Britain, we must say, have you had your Weetabix?
Just sorted my guaranteed over 50 plan with Sun Life. There's even a cash payout.
Nice one.
It's given me the confidence to look after myself. I've started learning jiu-jitsu.
Come on! Search Sun Life Plan today and get a free gift card.
Witness the fitness, the clock will tell 11. One hope, one quest.
Tomorrow starts tonight. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
With 3, save £336 on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. And claim a Galaxy Tab A9 Plus worth £259 when you buy today. Search 3 or head in-store today. Life needs a big network.
What they don't tell you about getting older is how much fun it can be. Enjoying all the things you've worked so hard for. Spending time with the people that really matter. Not to mention, finally finding that precious time for yourself. I don't want anything taking my best years away from me, but like so many people, I've seen the heartbreak that dementia can cause. That's why I'm asking everyone to order this essential free guide from Alzheimer's Research UK. It's called Your Brain Matters. We all know what's good for our heart and our lungs, but do you know how to keep your brain healthy too? Well, this guide tells you how, in 7 steps you can start taking right now, whatever your age. Just ring the number on screen to get your free copy. Inside, you'll find facts and tips that can keep your brain healthy and help reduce your risk of developing dementia. It's advice you can really trust from leading dementia scientists. Read it, keep it, and check back whenever you need to. Order your free copy now. Call Alzheimer's Research UK on 0800 035 5984 or text BRAIN2 to 78866. Think of it as another way of planning for your best years, because your brain really matters.
To make public spaces truly safe for women, but investigation has begun into this case, which is the good news here. Banashankari Police in Bengaluru have registered an FIR on the 20th of May under Section 67 of the IT Act, which is also for digital spread of those videos and photos that have been taken, and also under BNS for stalking. Now the videos have been deleted and Telegram channel has been taken down. But the larger question remains, how do women fight this broader culture of impunity in cases involving digital and sexual crimes against women, because all their time is being spent just being vigilant? That's what we discuss tonight. Joining us now is a group of experts. But first, before we go to our guests, let's look at the special report that was sent by my colleague Deepak Bhopanna.
A case where an individual was clicking pictures of women without their consent and posting it online, of course, has raised some serious concerns, especially for women travelers. Here with me outside Bengaluru metro station are a few women. Tell me, you must have, come across this story where, an individual was posting obscene pictures of women without their consent. You travel regularly in the metro, I believe. You're standing right outside one. Does this really, make you feel like, does it really put you off when you're traveling in the metro?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, we usually come through metro because it used to be considered, one of the safe options than BMTC or an auto or something. So when we realized, we've been seeing this on social media now, it really put me off a lot. And, that even our parents, they're like, "Arey, metro mein mat jao, it's very unsafe now." There's people clicking pictures of women, and it's something to I was really shocked. I mean, it's not something we usually see on metros especially. But yeah, that's very saddening to be honest, but yeah.
Absolutely, and what was even more surprising is that the number of followers and the traction that page was gaining. So on one hand, you have a individual who's so deranged that he actually clicks these pictures and gets some joy out of putting it online, and then you have so many people following it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand because, see, I feel like we daughters are always raised to, like try to be safe everywhere, but these sons aren't raised to respect women outside. So I think these sons need to be taught by their parents to respect women outside, even in the metro, and they shouldn't be supporting these kind of things because if they talk about their sister or their mother, they would be angry, but since it's strangers, they're not bothered. So I think it's unfair.
From the police, what action would you expect? Because they've already registered a case now.
Yeah, they should take a serious action because this is not a small issue that have raised. They should be serious, and Metro also should take more safety for women.
Well said. Let me, in fact, also I want to ask you another question. She did mention that the metro officials as well should probably look into this more keenly. Do you think that there should be more security, or if the staff notice anybody randomly taking videos, that should be prevented? There are CCTVs as well. Probably monitoring should happen using that as well.
Yes, I think that is very necessary because you as the other person said it, we believe it to be one of the safest places. So if there's a lot more security or a lot more people to check on wrong actions and wrong behaviors, I think it would be better, and we might actually feel at least little more safe.
Let me tell you a little bit about this case. There was an Instagram page called Metro Chicks that openly uploaded secretly recorded videos and pictures of female passengers on Nama Metro, which is in Bengaluru. And if you look at these clips, they zoomed in on women's private body parts and also their faces, and they were all shared publicly to over 6,000 followers. There was also a Telegram link on the Insta account which had similar content, and the captions were mostly like finding beautiful girls in Bengaluru. These are pictures that completely objectified women and clicked pictures of them and uploaded pictures of them that were clicked without their consent. And most of these photos also featured disturbing background music. Clearly, this is an invasion of privacy, but most importantly, investigation has started into this case. What we understand is that an FIR has been lodged against an accused, and police in Bengaluru are trying to find out what really happened. Remember, all of this was brought to surface, was highlighted by a user, a male user who spoke to us yesterday, and he said that it was his wife who saw this account and she wanted him to post this on social media. The man posted this on social media and he tagged Bengaluru police, which is when the action was taken. Now, of course, all that content has been removed, but most importantly, the question of this broader culture of impunity in cases that involve digital sexual crimes against women. There are laws in place, that their implementation remains a problem. And this is something about awareness also, because a lot of these women may not even know that their photos have been clicked and they are part of this Insta account, of course now deleted. Remember, this is a case of voyeuristic photos to explicit acts. Public transport clearly is becoming unsafe for women in many cities. There is an insistence on increasing CCTV coverage, but most importantly, my colleague Deepak joins us with more details on this. Deepak, tell us the latest about the update in investigation when it comes to this case in Bengaluru of this one user uploading several pictures of random women taking the metro. Now, of course, all that content has gone down, but tell us, where has the investigation proceeded and what do we know so far?
The challenge for the police really is, lack of basic information as to who this individual is. That's the reason they've written to Meta. They've here hoping that they will be getting information about who this person is, because whenever you create an Instagram account, you need basic details such as your email ID, sometimes even the phone number. The police are waiting for these details. Meanwhile, the IP address from where these photographs were uploaded, that's being searched as well. So it's an extensive investigation, predominantly technical in nature at this point in time, considering the fact that they don't know who this individual is. The FIR has been registered under Section 77 BNS, also 67 of the IT Act. against unknown persons. So the challenge here is to this individual is next procedure, of course, will be to predominantly understand whether this individual just uploaded these pictures on this page on just Instagram or other pages on other social media platforms as well.
Right. Thank you, Deepak, for joining us with those details. We also have Khushbu Sundar, actor turned politician, joining us now. Khushbu ma'am, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. I was just telling our viewers that the Insta page called Metro Chicks openly uploaded secretly recorded videos of female passengers. And if you look at these clips, and I was looking at them yesterday, they zoom into women's bodies, they show their faces, and the captions are all "finding beautiful girls on Nama Metro," a complete objectification. And, you know, the background music is also quite disturbing. How do you see incidents of voyeurism like this on public transport? Because most of these women did not even know that they were being clicked. I think most of them didn't, I think all of them did not know that they were being clicked, and they were randomly sleeping, eating, talking. They were just doing things that we do, and they got clicked, and now they're all part of this Insta account. How do you see this act?
This is a complete invasion of privacy where men are exploiting women who are on public platforms. Any kind of a public platform, it's a very normal thing for a woman to be on a, in any of these public places. Now, uploading the pictures which have been taken without their permission and uploading it on a particular site on a social platform, I'm sure this calls for a criminal offense, and they should be charged, not only those who have been hired by this particular page on Instagram, but I think even the page itself, who has actually this page called Metro Chicks, I think that has to be charged. The people who are in, have opened this site, they should be charged, and they should be, and a criminal offense should be charged against them, and an action, immediate action should be taken.
Right. Also, I'll just come back to you, ma'am. Renuka Chaudhary, former minister, also joins us. Lalita Kumaramanglam, who has headed NCW in the past. Both of you have been people who have been in charge of policies for women. Renuka, ma'am, to you first. How does one normalize the fact that you can call out a person taking pictures without consent? Because I was talking to people about this incident, and they said, just, pictures. What's wrong with this? How do you normalize, guarding of one's privacy in a society like ours?
I'll tell you, it's happened with me. I was in an aircraft where you have those small aircraft which has those 3-seaters on one side. And I fell asleep leaning against the window, and something woke me up. And I realized the guy sitting in the center had turned in a way that we both look as if we are so cozy, and he was taking a picture of me fast asleep. And I asked him, I said, did you just take my picture? And he said, no, and he was smiling away. He was smiling for the camera when I caught him. And it's a violation. You feel violated. And it's nothing normal. This happens, you have to recondition the women's mind also. There's nothing a picture. And for this, I respect Jaya Bachchan ji. She doesn't hesitate. She goes up to the guy, makes them delete the picture, and she does not allow anyone to take a picture of hers without her permission. And she calls them out, and she may not be popular. They don't like her for that, but so be it. And this is something that women have to learn to realize, that nothing is just a picture in today's technology where your head and body can be morphed, put onto some other thing, enter the gray areas, the gray web